Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. My name is HDTGeorge. Back out here on the trail again, getting my 3 miles in, dropping this daily vlog. Look at that, I actually call it a vlog. I'm learning. So, while I'm out here doing this, I need you to do me a favor. Reach down below you here and like and subscribe. In case you haven't noticed, we're just now getting the channel up and off the ground, and we're out there shaking the bushes, trying to get as many people to come by, like, subscribe. You know the drill. So, this week, gaming-wise, or this weekend, I should say, I played some Destiny 2. And by played some Destiny 2, I mean that my mediocre ass farmed Trials. Oh, if you don't know what Trials is, it is the sweatiest rotational PvP playlist. Comp is probably worse, but Trials has a special little something going on. Always has since D1. Hyper competitive, which I am not. I'm a break-even player. I got about a even KD, plus or minus. I'm usually too busy working new guns and trying new builds and things like that. I'm not one of those players that's motivated just by the number of kills I get. I'm here for the experience. But Trials is not that thing, or wasn't, up until about 2 weeks ago when Bungie changed the loot reward systems. I'm not going to get too deep into that. I'm going to do a video on it later, but let's just say there's a lot of participation trophies going around, things that I like. I'm much more of a grind player than an achievement player. I'm in it for the long haul, not for the being awesome. I can control one of those. Can't really control the other one. But Bungie this weekend introduced something new to try and help players like me get to the lighthouse, which is where you go when you win 7 wins without losing. That's where all the awesome loot is. That's where all the awesome everything is in Trials. So Bungie introduced a new matchmaking system. Basically, if you go flawless, which is your 7 wins, no losses, you go to the lighthouse. You come back and play more Trials. You're in a pool of only Trials players. Let's do an analogy here. Imagine you and your friends are salmon swimming up a stream. You see up ahead, there's a waterfall. The bottom of that waterfall is a pool. Top of that waterfall is a pool. Basically the way it works is, at first, everybody's at the base of the falls, hanging out in the kiddie pool, fighting each other. Alright, then the badasses eventually start to rise up and over the waterfall and into the flawless pool at the top. What you have there is the kiddie pool. The population of good players continually declines until the only players left are the players like me. We should be able to beat each other to death and get to the lighthouse at that point, or so you would think. But there's a couple of problems with this. Now, in the grand scheme of things, it sounds like a great idea, but there's a lot of intricacies that made it not really work right. First of which being, if you're gonna have to play your ass off to get to the lighthouse, to be entered into a pool where you're gonna have to play your ass off all the time. Like, I'm not a sweat, but I get that. That doesn't sound fun. I'm used to having to duke it out with you guys all the time. I can tell you, it's not fun. But also, imagine this scenario. You go flawless. 2 homies on your team weren't on to run when you went flawless. Now that they're on, they are unflawless. You are flawless. If you enter Trials of Osiris, since you have been flawless, it is automatically going to dump all 3 of you into the flawless pool, the one above where all the badasses are. That doesn't really give them the same fight that everybody else gets down in the kiddie pool to at least try while they're hanging with you. So they either have to ditch you, or you got to put your big backpack on, carry them all the way. which is rough against guaranteedly other flawless players. Now, one of the other things that went wrong is part of human nature that I don't understand. I get it, but I don't get it. For a certain percentage of players that play the game, their only real enjoyment comes from being better than everybody else at the game. Now, sometimes you get people who actually are, but a lot of times you get people who are just better than average. Why are they motivated to go and duke it out with badasses when they can reset their card after 6 wins, bounce back down again, and run through everybody in the kiddie pool? I don't know. I would think that you would want to win the flawless and get up and out of there. I don't know what it's like to be a pub stomper. Don't want to criticize it too much because who knows, it might be the best thing in the world. But being the pub stompee, it's not that fun. So, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. I don't know. I got some good farming in. I farmed up to 7 wins on a non-flawless card. And wins after that, almost every single win gave me cores, shards, prisms, loot, engrams, all kinds of things. And it was a good time and I enjoyed farming it. But here's the big question. Should Trials be farmable? Should it be a farming thing? It was originally introduced as just a best of the best tournament kind of thing. Something a little extra sweaty. But at the same time, Destiny is a game in constant evolution. So it might not be a bad idea to go back and look at it and say, you know what, Trials used to be a thing. The thing that Trials is no more. Let's make it into something new. That seems to be what Bungie's doing. And I want to point out something along the way here with this. I am not quite as adamant as the no map in 17,000 days crew. I do get it, I do understand it, but I have also been paying attention to what's been going on behind the scenes. Bungie is not big enough and probably will never be big enough to execute all of our wants. It's just too much. But when we had the sunsetting thing go down, one of the things that we were sold on sunsetting with was that they were going to introduce this new engine or something. But the overarching idea is that they're going to be a little lighter on their feet on getting us fixes and buffs and nerfs and things like changing the way that the matchmaking works in the Crucible on the fly. So again, not some Bungie apologist. As you come by and watch the videos here, you're going to realize I'm pretty even keel on it. I both love and hate them with equal measure, but I do still keep playing the game, so they're still on the love side right now. But I think that it should at least be said, good job, Bungie, for being lighter on your feet and for giving us these options. See, the biggest thing about this, actually, in my opinion, is that people have been clamoring for this fix for Trials pretty much since Trials came around. Some of these things that went wrong were obvious. Some of these things that went wrong were not obvious. I like the fact that we are now at a point in the game where Bungie can implement these kind of things so that we can all look at it and see how it's going and make changes, or at least have discussion about changes that need to happen to kind of guide this evolutionary game as we go. It's much better than the 8 or 9 month stretches that we used to have in between updates and fixes. If anybody remembers the Age of the One-Eyed Mask, that should put your Shatter Dive complaints into perspective. But all in all, lots of good changes. There's more fun to be had in Trials than I've ever had. I am a little more aspirational about going to the lighthouse than I have been previously. That's an achievement in and of itself. As far as loot goes, did pretty good. I still, all the engrams that I got, first one I popped gave me the sword, the chain reaction. Excited about that. I sunk all the rest of them, probably 6 or 7, into messengers. Because while I do have the God Roll pleb gun, max stability with Zen Moment and Headseeker, I do not have one with Desperado on it. Really starting to chat me. I've probably seen 20 messengers, not a single one with Desperado. I don't know if I want to put on my spinfoil hat, Bungie, but might need to look into unweighting the drops. But that's a discussion for a different time. Outside of that, I was very happy to at least get the chances. On top of that, I was very excited to get the chance to practice. I really enjoy the idea that I can go into trials by myself. And I know I'm not going flawless, but I can get some good experience, learn these maps. As someone who hasn't been a Sweaty Trials player, I can use all kinds of time in there. So I think that's also an upside of what they're doing with trials. So all in all, not bad. Good on you, Bungie. Keep it up. Next up, just a little bit of channel news since this is a vlog. We almost have the merch ready. Hit a couple of snags that I did not anticipate. Doing it this way is all new to me. I'm used to the old school system from back in 20, 30 years ago, back when we were in the band. By the way, shout out Half Down Thomas. Check out the video yesterday that explains what the HDT and HDTGeorge is. But the new print to order merch has been it's been a learning experience, I'll say that. But I've got it under wraps. I've got to get a few more designs up and then we're good to go. I'm gonna start telling you to buy a t-shirt. Don't be mad, I've been telling you to subscribe and like. I'm also gonna tell you that I have a Patreon at HDTGeorge. And for that matter, you can follow me across all social media at HDTGeorge. I'm the only one that's apparently sitting on that name, imagine that. Thank you very much for stopping by. Be looking for some new changes and things like that coming in the future. I'm going to get these last laps out. Again, thank you for coming by. And as always, remember, fight the status quo.